Welcome back to If Numbers Could Talk, episode 55, entitled Clamp Smart. If Numbers Could Talk is a show that is based on giving you numbers, giving you a little background, history, some information about different things that you may enjoy or want to hear about. Today's episode is entitled Clamp Smart in honor of the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. What we'll be doing in this episode for the Defensive Player of the Year is we'll be going back through the history. Recently, the current winner of the Defensive Player of the Year made a comment that guards aren't really allowed to win the Defensive Player of the Year award unless their initials are GP. Well, the NBA clearly decided to prove him wrong and acknowledge his efforts on the defensive end by awarding him the Defensive Player of the Year award. So we'll be talking about him, the other nominees for this current year, as well as the previous winners from previous years. How did that go? Who has more than one victory or title or trophy to their name? Who has only one trophy to their name? And what I think is really, really just how we should look at it. Who has the most? What player or which players have been able to afford and ascertain or gather? I'm not sure which word would work better here, but which of these players have had the most Defensive Player of the Year awards in history? Let's discuss it. Welcome to If Numbers Could Talk. So let's begin by simply discussing this year's race for the Defensive Player of the Year. So for this year, we had Marcus Smart winning the Defensive Player of the Year for 2022. He is not the first or the second guard, but the sixth person listed as a guard in the NBA to win the Defensive Player of the Year. The Defensive Player of the Year award, from my looking back, what I was able to find, has been awarded since 1983. And in that time, Marcus Smart is officially the sixth guard to win this award. But for this year, the runner-ups, the other nominees, or the other nominated peoples, were Rudy Gobert, a center, and Mikal Bridges, a forward. Mikal Bridges average, he plays for the Phoenix Suns, for those who want to go and check his games out, averaged 14.2 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.4 blocks, 0.8 turnovers, and 1.8 personal fouls in the regular season. Rudy Gobert, the center, averaged 15.6 points, 14.7 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 0.7 steals, 2.1 blocks, with 1.8 turnovers and 2.7 personal fouls per game. Now, I did not mention, but I will now, Mikal Bridges played 35 minutes in all of his regular season games, and Rudy Gobert played 32 minutes in all of his regular season games. Now, the next stat line we have is our winner, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart played and averaged through this season 32 minutes per game, giving us 12 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.7 steals, 0.3 blocks, 2.2 turnovers, and 2.3 personal fouls. Now, keep in mind, again, Marcus Smart is the only guard of the people we just named, and he is still right on par with the forward with a 7'1" wingspan, Mikal Bridges, in 0.3 blocks. Michael. I'm not sure, honestly. But he averages 0.4 blocks. So you have a 6'3", 6'4" guy averaging the same as a 6'6" guy, and the wingspan difference is incredible there. I want to say Marcus Smart has a wingspan of around 6'8", if I remember it correctly. I could be wrong. It might be a little shorter or longer. But Mikal Bridges, I know for a fact, I remember His wingspan is 7 foot and 1 inches, and he's 25, so it could have grown since the last measurement. Those are the statistics for this current regular season award, the Defensive Player of the Year. Now, before I give you too much on Marcus Smart, I'm going to give you Marcus Smart's background, or excuse me, his career numbers, his playoff numbers, and his award listings after we go through the Defensive Player of the Year history. Now, the Defensive Player of the Year, again, from 1983 to 2022, which means next year will be 40 years for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Who are the other guards that have won the Defensive Player of the Year that are not Marcus Smart? Those guards are Sidney Moncrief, who won in 1983 and 1984. Alvin Robertson, who won in 1986. Michael Cooper, who won in 1987. And I had to go and do some research and make sure, because I thought Coop was listed as a small forward shooting guard, but apparently he is listed as a solid shooting guard, not as a small forward. In fact, as a shooting guard, backup point. And you think of the teams he played on, or the team he played on that era. I mean, yeah, there were 6'5" guards. I mean, we act like guards have always been 6'1" or something until recently, and that's definitely not the case. However, there was a time before in this day and age where only big men were centers, and your 4 guy could still be 6'4", depending on the scheme you were running. But that's a different discussion and a different episode for If Numbers Could Talk. The next guard we have on the list after Michael Cooper, who won it in 1987, is Michael Jordan, who won it in 1988. Now, for the next 8 years, there will be no more other, wow, I can't believe I almost said that. For the next 8 years, there will be no other guard to win this award until Gary Payton in 1996. And from 1996 until today, from 1996 until today, until this current season, until literally this week that I'm speaking in, no other guard has won this award. The Defensive Player of the Year has been won by a forward or a center from 1997 until 2021. However, in 1996, the winner was a guard in Gary Payton. And in 2022, the winner is a guard in Marcus Smart. And what Marcus was saying in his statement, in the modern era of basketball, guards seem to not be able to win this award until Marcus Smart came along. There you go. Who are your single winners who only won the Defensive Player of the Year on one occasion through their career? That list is Alvin Robertson, Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Gary Payton, Meta World Peace, Marcus Camby, Kevin Garnett, Tyson Chandler, Mark Gasol, Joakim Noah, Draymond Green, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think I said that right, and your newest winner, your latest winner, is also a single time winner so far, Marcus Smart, with his first win this year. Your multiple time winners for the Defensive Player of the Year are Sidney Moncrief, who won 2. Mark Eaton also won 2. Dennis Rodman, 2. Hakeem Olajuwon, 2. Kawhi Leonard, 2. Dwight Howard with 3 Defensive Player of the Years. Rudy Gobert, who won 3 of the last 4 and was the runner-up for this year, has won 3 Defensive Player of the Years. And then we move from the 3s to the 4s. There's only 2 people who have won 4 times Defensive Player of the Year. I do believe that there's a possibility Rudy Gobert will hit that milestone, if not surpass that milestone, before his career is over. However, the 2 current members of the Defensive Player of the Year list to have 4 wins, Dikembe Mutombo with 4 Defensive Player of the Years, and Ben Wallace with 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards in his career. Now, I went through that list to validate pretty much what it was that Marcus Smart was alluding to a little earlier. I think it was maybe a month or two ago, maybe a little longer, but I think only a month or two ago, around beginning of the year, um, where he made that statement that it just seems like guards aren't even considered for the award. And when you look at that list, you look back, you look even through some of the stats, minutes, size, the amount of effort and output that a 6'1", 6'4", 6'3" guy has to put in to give the same amount of defense, even as a 6'9" guy, and to be able to do that every night consistently, as they say when it comes to the guards specifically, but as they kind of say when it comes to defenders, you just got that dog in you. It's just kind of insane. I agree with Marcus that guards aren't on that list more, or they aren't at least in the discussion more. I mean, nobody can deny when you have a 7-foot guy who's getting up and down the floor, giving you 2 and 3 blocks a night, a steal or two, and 14 rebounds with 15 points. That's incredible. So nobody's ever, I don't think anybody would think that's not. But when you're 6'2", 6'3", and you're given those exact same type of numbers, maybe not the 14 rebounds, but take those 14 rebounds, turn that into 5 or 6 assists, lower your rebounds to about 5 or 4 rebounds, 14 points, 15 points, 2 steals, half a block a game. That's solid for a guard. That's solid, and it's not talked about enough, in my opinion. Hey, who am I other than a guy who just loves to watch the game? Just a good fan here, right? But let's talk about those Marcus Smart numbers now. What what's Marcus Smart's career been like leading into winning this Defensive Player of the Year? I know anytime the Celtics came and played the Lakers, when I was watching every single Laker game and I was like glued to it. And I'm kind of still glued to it now. But what I remember is Marcus Smart. He got drafted in 2014, and every single time this guy is on the floor, you're like, yo, can he be on our team? He's gonna hit the shots you need. He's gonna defend. He's gonna sweat so hard that the mop guys are right behind him every time he comes around because they know he's just dripping up and down the floor. I mean, everybody is, but that guy's probably losing 4 pounds a night. I don't know how he keeps his weight up, but he's just never stops moving. So Marcus Smart and his career accolades. Marcus Smart had was on the all rookie team in 2014, 2015. He has 2 all defensive team selections, and he is the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year. For his career, Marcus Smart has only played in Boston. His career average thus far 10.5 points, 3.6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1.6 steals, zero point 0.4 blocks, 1.8 turnovers, and 2.6 personal fouls. With the field goal percentage of 38%, the 3-point percentage of 32%, and the free throw percentage of 78% for Marcus Smart in his regular season career. However, regular season has ended. Marcus Smart is your 2022 Defensive Player of the Year. Clamp Smart, as I will be calling him for the next year. But now it's playoff time. And they're in the playoffs as well, the Celtics. So Marcus Smart is going to work with his Defensive Player of the Year accolade and running into the playoffs, and whoever he has to be matched up against, Lord help him. Ironically, in this particular series that they're in, which I'll also cover before this episode ends, he has to guard Kyrie Irving most of the night, if not Kevin Durant, which I'm guessing he has to guard Kyrie Irving most of the night and not the 7-footer. However, during these playoffs, he is definitely going to give you a show to watch. So if you get a chance, check it out. But for his career thus far, Marcus Smart has averaged in the playoffs 11.4 points, 4.4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.6 blocks, 2.3 turnovers, and 2.9 personal fouls, with 38% from the field, 32% from the 3-point line, and 74% from the free throw line for Marcus Smart in his playoff career. To my knowledge, Marcus Smart has been in the playoffs every year of his career. To my knowledge, Marcus Smart is definitely one of the more savvy defenders in this league. And if he is to play for the Boston Celtics for the duration of his career, they will have a guy who is only going to get better. I want to say 2014, he's in year 7, 8. He's only going to get better. And I enjoy watching him. So definitely, if you get a chance, go and check out some dare I say it, as a Laker fan, check out some Celtic games and get a good look at what Marcus Smart presents, what he gives to the game, and what he's going to do when your team comes into that arena, and how he's going to do his best to shut down your best player. That is his job, and he does it very, very well. For If Numbers Could Talk, this episode, again, is entitled Clamp Smart, episode 55. This episode is about the Defensive Player of the Year and the winner of this year's Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. Just to keep you updated on what the NBA looks like currently, we are in the playoffs, currently in round 1. Some teams are currently playing as I speak, so this will probably be updated. This bracket will probably be updated not long after I put this episode out for you. However, this is where we currently stand, and by all means, take yourself over there, check out the bracket, check out some of these games if you get a good chance, because I've been thoroughly entertained. The current standings for the NBA playoffs. In round 1, you have the number 1 seed playing the number 8 seed, Phoenix versus the New Orleans Pelicans. They are tied 1-1. The number 4 seed, Dallas versus the number 5 seed, Utah, also tied 1-1. Golden State Warriors, the number 3 seed, versus the number 6 seed, Denver Nuggets. Golden State is up 2-0. The 2nd seed, Memphis Grizzlies, versus the 7th seed, Minnesota Timberwolves, is tied 1-1. On the Eastern Conference, you have the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. The Miami Heat are the number 1 seed. The Atlanta Hawks are the number 8 seed. Miami is leading that series 2-0. The Philadelphia 76ers are the number 4 seed, and the Toronto Raptors are the number 5 seed. Philadelphia leads that series 2-0. Milwaukee Bucks are the number 3 seed. The Chicago Bulls are the number 6 seed. As it currently stands, they do not play until tomorrow. The series is 1-0. In the last bracket, however, not the last game, every single series so far has been somewhat worth watching, some not as much as others. But this particular series, in my opinion, has been the one worth watching the most. They've only played one game, but in that one game, there was so much to discuss. There was so much to just break down. I mean, you know what? Maybe I'm going overboard, because I can actually think of a few other games or series or games that I saw that were. These playoffs are really fun to watch. Just know that it could be a lot of things entailed, but these playoffs are really fun to watch. So if you get a chance, by all means, go and check them out. Take a look. Catch what you can. If you only catch highlights and playbacks, watch those. It's amazing. However, the last bracket, the number 2 seed, the Boston Celtics, which Marcus Smart plays for, we just covered him, and the number 7 seed, the Brooklyn Nets. That is what makes this so interesting. The number 7 seed is the Brooklyn Nets. They were pretty much riddled with injury most of the season. So Boston leads that series 1-0, but the game literally ended with a game-winning layup. A game-winning layup off of a cut where he catches the ball and spins off the guy to make a layup. It wasn't like he just caught it in. It was layup line time. Please, if you enjoy this game the way I do, check out these NBA playoffs this year. They are amazing. And hey, they're only going to get better, because a lot of the talent that we're seeing right now, some of these guys are very young, and it's their first time. It's their first go. And some of these guys, we know the guys that are going to be there next year. They were there last year, and they're there this year. But to see some of these new young guys, it's been entertaining. It's been entertaining, but also to see the execution of basketball. football recently has been entertaining. It's definitely starting to look more like a 5-on-5 game again when you watch these games. So by all means, go ahead and check it out. For If Numbers Could Talk, my name is Keelan. Thanks a lot for tuning in. By all means, check out some of our other shows. Head on over to Facebook and YouTube. Look for the Exo Fathom, which comes on Mondays. You're right here with If Numbers Could Talk on Tuesdays. Check out Screen Time Continuum. We're there on Wednesdays and Sundays. Also, check out on Twitch the Strawberries and Coffee Gaming channel, which John will be over there for you, as well as on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to add This Married Moment, a new podcast that just started last weekend. Check it out. They'll have a new episode out this weekend. We appreciate you for tuning in. And by all means, come right back here to If Numbers Could Talk. We'll be here for you. Appreciate it. See you guys later. This episode's really fun, guys. Like playoff time. Ooh.